They come in handy sometimes, don't they?
Yep.
Well, let's see here. So, Duck Lake Road?
Take Bogey.
Take Bogey, okay.
Yeah, Bogey will take you right up to Cooley. Cooley will take you right to our street.
Well, so Elizabeth Lake Road on it.
Elizabeth Lake, yeah, it would.
That's a little closer. Or is it further?
Yeah.
It's further.
Yeah, it's a little bit further.
Yeah.
Bogey kind of goes at an angle, so it's
Okay.
a little bit quicker. Where you live?
Heartland.
Heartland?
Heartland.
I got
Down there 5 miles.
Yeah. We drive all over for work. It's mostly in Detroit.
Oh, do you? What do you
We
do?
come out here a little bit.
What do you do?
Our company does restoration work for DTE.
Oh, okay.
So DTE comes up, tears up a street or a sidewalk, and we repair it. Even the grass.
And you build DTE.
Yep.
Okay. Profitable? I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Good deal.
The company does pretty well, I think.
Okay.
We've got down in Detroit, all the meters are inside houses. So we've got this 30-year project going on where they're moving all the meters to outside, replacing all the lines.
The meters are inside. So when they need to read the meter, they're going into people's homes, huh?
Yeah, they used to.
I don't remember that. Wow.
And now they're wireless. So
Exactly. They can read it from the main office, whatever, right? Yeah.
Plus they're putting, instead of the iron pipes, they're putting PVC lines in the ground for the lines.
They'll be there forever.
Yeah. So they're 100 years they're guaranteed for.
Is that right? If not longer than that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the iron lines have been down there for way over what they were.
Rusting away.
I think those were 50 years. I come out this way every once in a while when they do handle where a tree falls on a line or something.
Yeah.
And they have to drive trucks on someone's lawn. We'll come out here and do grass restoration too. So,
Interesting. I bet you DTE doesn't do much to avoid that stuff.
yeah, I mean, they tried not to, but the workers not so much.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your truck in for?
I'm pretty sure the ball joints are bad on it.
Okay. Those are great little trucks.
Yeah, I love the height of it.
Yep.
It's perfect.
Yep.
A lot of the other guys in the company have full-size trucks. It's just a pain in the ass getting in and out of it all day long.
You should see the trucks that come in are jacked up 2 feet higher than the norm.
Yeah.
And a 5'5" girl drives it with it. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I can hardly get in those trucks. And they pop in and out. And they love it.
My personal truck's a little bit higher than normal.
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
not that high. It's got a little leveling lift in the front and a little bit bigger tires on it.
So it looks good anyways.
It does. My wife's 4'11". She never drives it. I have to give her a boost to get into
My third, 3 cars ago was a Silverado, and I leased it for, I guess at least for 3 years, and they pulled it at 2, and I was so glad to get rid of it. It was a great truck.
it. Yeah, I've got a Silverado too. I love my truck.
Yep, I loved it too, except that it was so tight in my garage.
Yeah, I bought it.
Yep. My wife refused to drive it. She He was terribly uncomfortable with it. So that's not a wise second car for us. No.
Is that 1500?
Yeah. 5.3. It's a good truck.
Yeah, I love it. I've had it for 10 years.
Well, my poor wife just died 4 months ago, so the days of
Sorry.
my life sucks right now.
I can imagine.
So that's the only reason I'm working. When COVID hit, I retired from GM, but when I worked here 4 years prior. I forget, 17, 18, 19. I worked here doing this 2 days a week. COVID hit, I called and quit, and then. My wife dies suddenly from lung cancer. So I got all 3 shots in a flu shot. I came back. Now I'm working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because the guy I alternate with, he's in St. Joe's right now. They removed 80% of his pancreas.
St. Joe's.
And it's 20% of his colon. He's in dire straits. So no.
Sucks getting old.
My wife's aunt just passed away yesterday.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah,
From COVID?
No, she had some. She's had a rough life. She had her first marriage. Her husband died probably 20 years ago. She got remarried. He died probably 10 years ago. And her son, her only son, died about 5 years ago.
Oh my God.
And she ended up getting cancer, and she just didn't fight it at all. She just
Had no will to live. Yeah.
She wanted to go.
Well, let me tell you how horrible life can be. I have a daughter in Washington State and a daughter in Fairbanks, Alaska. And when my wife was getting really bad, it all happened within a week from diagnosis to dying at home.
Wow.
So I called and says, you got to come home, and I hope you make it in time. So they came in and we got hospice in, and long story short, my wife dies. And my 2 girls stayed an extra week, and they flew back to their respective locations. My Alaska daughter calls, I don't know what the time frame was, and a week later, and said, Dad, she lived with her boyfriend in Fairbanks. He was a fireman, and she was at work, and he was at a Safeway supermarket getting groceries. Walking out of the grocery store, and a disgruntled ex-employee of that grocery store ran in, shot her boyfriend 3 times in the chest, killed him, and ran in the store, shot the store clerk, wounded the store clerk, shot the store, and turned himself into the police. The guy was a nutcase. So now my poor kid's not only dealing with the loss of her mother, but her boyfriend. There's nothing I can do. It's just going to be a lousy year.
Is she coming back, or is she staying?
She went up there she went to University of Alaska. She went up there a long time, and she loves it up there. She wouldn't come back for anything. She just has, they love her in Fairbanks. She's a traveling bartender. She's got a great personality, and she wouldn't come back. So she has to deal with it by herself. I wonder what they're doing here. They're clearing all this out. They're clearing all that out over there. Yeah, somebody's always got to work, Boy. You'll face it someday. I was a cowardice, and I've always told my wife, God, I hope I go first. Didn't work that way. I never paid a bill. I never did any of that. I'm learning. She wanted to be a marine biologist, and they have a great school at University of Alaska Fairbanks.
I mean, I've heard it's beautiful.
Yeah, oh, it's gorgeous. It's paradise if you can get through the winters. It's awful. But I was managing shows and exhibits for Pontiac Division and doing a lot of traveling and collecting a lot of frequent flyer points. And, you know, we told her no out of the chute. You know, you need to apply to state or wherever. And she kept nagging us and nagging us and nagging us, and we finally caved in. And thinking that because of all the frequent flyer points I was getting, we could get her home a couple times a year, or we could go up a couple times a year. Then I get transferred from sales to service. Doing a little traveling, but not like I was. But she has no desire to come back. When she was here, my wife died on 9/11. That's the first time we've seen her in 5 years. My other daughter, who was married to a soldier, they lived in Colorado, and we all got together in Colorado 4 years ago. But yeah, that's typical families anymore.
My youngest moved out to California for a little while. She hated it and then coming back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where is she in California?
LA, right downtown.
Los Angeles.
It's funny you say that. I took a guy home this morning in, I can't think of the lake in Fenton. Lake Shannon in Fenton. Beautiful lake. He and his wife just moved here from LA 2 weeks ago because of the cost of living. He's born and raised in California. And the crime, wherever suburb of LA he was in. Bought this nice little house on Lake Shannon. And he worked in Ann Arbor, and she worked for State Farm or something. He left for work. She went out and started her car and went back in to get a cup of coffee and came back out and the car's gone. And the squirrel looked out. Anyway, they live on a hill and they're looking down. The road's out in front of them and then another row of houses by the lake. Her car was backwards, smashed into the neighbor's, tore the garage down. The structure. Didn't see anybody. But what happened is, it must have been kids, and her car was a stick shift cruise.
Took it put in neutral.
Well, they probably didn't know how to drive a stick. And it missed the driveway completely. It went over the yard, down the gully, and bounced across it. So welcome to Michigan, you guys. You know.
Yeah, that's what my daughter says. The people there are just, it's like, if they're not trying to swindle you out of a dime, they're stealing anything you have. It's on lockdown. She said her boyfriend had bought a small motorcycle out there to ride around. I think he had it 2 days and it was gone.
You know, that's pretty much any place anymore. Although I live in Heartland and there's hardly any crime at all that I'm aware of.
Yeah, same commerce.
Same in
You
commerce.
hear about it, but
Yep.
I've never had anything broke into.
And neither have I. I lived in Highland for 20 years, never had a problem in Highland. What's amazing though, the guy's telling me,
Did you grow up here?
I was born and raised in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
But I started working at General Motors years ago and never left the state. I've been offered transfers to Thousand Oaks, California, which I turned down, and one in upstate New York, which the plant's torn down, and I turned that down too. In retrospect, they were all good decisions. The problem is when you turn down transfers, they stop asking you to transfer.
It stops your growth.
Yep. So I did okay staying in the central office. I was company car guy for 21 years. And my wife and I have been all over the world several times, so I got good memories of that.
I used to do a lot of travel. I worked for a tool manufacturer called Atlas Copco.
Yeah.
They're number one manufacturer in the U.S. or in all the automotive industry. And, I used to travel all over the place for them. It got old.
Yeah. When I was with auto shows, it was you were being wined and dined back when the suppliers could do that.
Yeah.
So that was, and many of the times there was incentive trips, and all the auto companies do it, where you take your top 100 dealers based on CSI and sales volume, whatever, and you treat the wife and the husband, the deal, whichever one was a dealer, to Paris or Bermuda or whatever. So many of those trips I got invited, and with my wife, and they were wonderful, wonderful trips. Stayed at the Four Seasons, and hot air balloon rides, and deep sea fishing, whatever you gave the dealer some options, and you got
Exactly. They could pick whichever one they wanted.
Exactly.
We used to do the same thing.
Exactly. And I retired, and then I went to work for Business Incentives, which was a company who did that. And I went to Minneapolis to interview. They hired me, and I was in Palm Springs, California, the following Monday for 3 weeks. That didn't go over too well with the wife. And now I understand that now. But yeah, they had me. I was the golf coordinator for GE or something. Most beautiful golf courses you ever seen. But my poor wife's cutting the grass, and she's doing all that, so I quit.
Yeah, I'd fly out on Monday, basically every morning. I was in the airport until Friday.
That's a pain.
And I'd come back home.
That's a pain. You gotta get your car out of the parking area. But I was a lot younger then, and I actually, for a while, enjoyed some of it.
Yeah, when I was young, I loved that.
Now, where am I going?
But I'd go straight. Yeah.
Going that way.
Exactly. Yeah, once we had the kids, and
Things change.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was hard to leave, and then she'd be calling me.
What do I do? Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Oh,
something broke, the furnace is broke, or something else.
well, reverse the role. What if your wife was gone the same amount of time you were?
Yeah.
Enough's enough. You know,
I
it's
know.
sick
I
of.
understood.
Yeah. Well, so did I. Well,
She used to get so mad too because she'd call me and I'd be at a bar with customers or something.
That's part of the job.
Yeah. So I try to explain to her, and she's got kids throwing up and
Yep. Yep.
laundry everywhere.
Yep. And you're out partying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that completely.
There goes straight again.
My in-laws used to live out here in Golf Manor. You know where that is?
Yeah, I do.
Across from the golf course.
Yeah, that's down off of Wise.
Commerce by CHS.
Yeah, Commerce. So how are you gonna get your truck?
Good question. My wife will probably end up driving.
If you get stuck, give us a call.
Okay.
Sometimes there's a conflict where I can't come when you like me to come, but you get stuck.
Yeah, she's staying with her mom right now because the aunt that died, her mom and the aunt lives together.
They were sisters.
Yeah.
That's hard. How old was she?
I want to say 70.
That's pretty young.
Yeah.
And, sorry to hear it. Yeah, my mother-in-law died a couple of years ago. My father-in-law died years ago.
My father-in-law died, was it last year, Rick?
the year before last of cancer.
He fought it for quite a while. He was diagnosed about 8 years before. He did pretty well for a long time. And at the end, it came on pretty strong.
Yeah, that's too bad. But my mother-in-law, she was 95, 96. But
That's pretty
she
good.
she had a good life. She was sick the last 5, 6 years. But my brother-in-law still lives in a house. He's 66 years old. He's never left.
Seriously?
Yeah. You ever go here?
You know, I've been there. That changes names like every
Yeah, I know. Is that
2
decent?
months. But yeah, I've been to that place before. It's
Okay.
called something different.
Kodiak.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kodiak. You're right.
Okay, this next side street here, where the car's pulling off.
Yep.
Right there.
Okay. Glade.
Let me take the left up here. We're doing...
You on the water?
No, we're across the street.
Okay. Don't have the horrible taxes, do you?
No. No, now the girls moved out. We lived over on Cooley Lake.
Okay.
We moved over here once the girls moved out. Got a smaller place.
Good move. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's only been 4 months.
Black truck right there. Straight ahead.
Gotcha. Which house is yours? Right here?
Yep.
Nice.
So, okay, give you some money?
No. A guy asked me the other day, he said, Bob, you take tips? And I said, absolutely not. Is he getting out? I said, well, how much?